Hey, it is reading time. Okay, so I used this book in my classes last week. I've used several other books called like How to Fight, but this one was called How to Love, Thich Nhat Hanh. And he's a Buddhist monk, and he gives some really good speeches and chats and stuff. You can look those up on YouTube as well. He's got great ones with Oprah, of course, but he he just has like really great, for me, his messages are good, but he also has like really great, I don't know, I call them one-liners because like there'll be something that just like sticks out to you and you're like, I'm gonna remember that verse forever. And one thing he said in a speech he gave once, I believe this one was about love and suffering and stuff, but it talked about how to love your partner better, and I'm gonna read some of it in what I'm gonna read to you today. But it spoke to me because I think the art of communication and communicating in love is lost. And I think that in the world that we live in these days, I think people have less and less patience to want to understand and get to know people. And while that may be fine in some certain situations, like you don't have to get to know your coworkers or your boss in any type of intimate way. You have a choice to pick and choose your friends, and not everybody has to be your best friend. There can be acquaintances. But when it comes to love, so if you're choosing a partner and you are choosing to spend a certain amount of time with someone, or eventually marriage or whatever, you have to learn your partner. It is like there just cannot be any pride or ego when it comes to loving your partner. And one thing that he said was, if your partner comes to you and your partner expresses to you that something bothered them, he used the word hurt or suffer, but let me just make this more modern day. So if your partner comes to you and tells you that something you have done or a situation has bothered them and upset them, while you may not agree with their response to it, so you don't have to agree with it, what should be the fundamental line there is your partner is suffering or hurt. And why would you want your partner to suffer or hurt? That doesn't make any sense. Like, if you love someone, you don't want them to suffer. You don't want them to hurt. And while whatever situation may have happened to make them feel a certain type of way, doesn't mean it was you intended it to make them feel that way. We're all responsible for our feelings and emotions. But at the end of the day, if this is the person you are choosing to have in your life and they say, XYZ makes me feel uncomfortable, or XYZ hurt my feelings when you did this, or you said this, or when you said that in front of these people, it made me feel uncomfortable, or when you post this, I don't like it, it makes me feel uncomfortable. So while you can be independent all you want, when it comes to love, you're in a partnership. Whether you're married or not, you're in a partnership, and maybe the ultimate goal is to be married, but you have to learn how to communicate, and you don't have to agree with each other all the time, but the underlining surface should be, I don't want you to suffer, and if I'm doing something that it hurts you, it makes you suffer, and it's not a big deal to me, then I'm going to do my best to make you feel more comfortable. I'm going to do my best to like change how I say that, because I don't want you to hurt. And I hope you understand that that was not my intention. And this is where I was coming from. I understand why that may make you feel this way. But you know what? If that bothers you or makes you feel that way, it's not that big of a deal to me, and I can do something about that. So I think it's really important to keep that in mind. There's no ego and pride in relationships. And healthy relationships, it doesn't necessarily mean it's someone who's saying, I never want you to go out and have fun with your girlfriends. Like, that's not healthy. So like, maybe that's not something you would change. But if there is a particular friend who makes your partner feel uncomfortable and they have reason to feel uncomfortable about that partner, about that person, there is a way to go about altering the time spent or involving that person in your life. I could be old school on some of these traditions, and you can absolutely not agree with me, and that's fine, and we're all entitled to how we feel. But love, real love, true love, means that the person you have chosen, so you have chosen this person for a reason, hopefully beyond the physical, you've chosen them. That's your person. And you want that person to be happy. And no, you're not responsible for creating all of their happiness, but you are responsible for not contributing to their suffering the best you can. And I think that's a concept we need to get back to. So anyways, though that speech that he gave about suffering and being able to also go to your partner and say, like, when you did this, it made me feel this way. It made me hurt, and just understanding where they're coming from. Like, not everything everybody does is intentionally meant to hurt you. We're all totally different human beings. So he gave that speech on being able to go to your partner and saying, when this happened, it hurt me, and this is what it made me feel like. And I would prefer if it was done like this. It would make me feel better or what have you. But also knowing that not to use your ego in it and be like, oh my God, I would never want you to hurt. I would never want you to feel that way. And like, how can I go about changing that? So I don't know. It's a different concept, I think, especially nowadays. I just hear like the younger generations not grasping that concept. I think there's a lot of ego in this world, and I think a lot of it does have to stem from social media and things like that. But there's great things about social media, and then there's also the negatives, and ego, pride, trying to outdo people. Like, I think we're losing the art of communication, and it's so key for the future. So anyways, today I'm going to read to you How to Love. This is an awesome book. It's so tiny. You can throw it in your bag. It's small, and it just has like little one-liners or paragraphs. And so today I'm going to read to you two little passages that really spoke to me last week, and I read them to my classes, and several of you have enjoyed them. So here they go. The first one is pride. Often our pride stands in the way of our asking for help. In true love, there is no place for pride. To love each other means to trust each other. If you don't tell the person you love of your suffering, it means you don't love this person enough to trust him or her. You have to realize that this person is the best person to help you. We need to be able to get help from the people we love. And when a loved one is suffering a lot, he or she doesn't have enough energy to embrace you and help you to suffer less. So it's natural that you become disappointed. You think that the other person's presence is no longer helpful to you. You may even wonder if you love this person anymore. But if you are patient and you practice taking care of yourself and the other person, you may have a chance to discover that the elements of goodness and beauty in the person you love are still there. Taking care of yourself, you can support your loved one and reestablish the joy in your relationships. I don't know. This book is just so key. But yeah, so think about that when you're communicating with your lover. Have a beautiful day.